Hi guys, welcome to today's episode of Talk the Talk with Weezy. Today we're going to be talking about the challenges new immigrants face when they move to a new country. I'm going to be talking from my own personal experience, so stay tuned and I hope you enjoy the rest part of the talk. Before we get started, if you haven't subscribed, please kindly hit the subscribe button below and please at the end of the video share the video to as much friends as you possibly can. So I'm gonna start with the first thing that I really noticed when I moved is the time difference, adjusting to the time, especially if you still want to connect with people back home. The time can be a big factor because, for example, over here it might be morning and back home is going to be afternoon. Sometimes in afternoon is afternoon over here, back home is already night. Even some places is morning and in the home country is in the midnight. Adjusting to the reality of this is the first thing that kind of hits you first when you first come. And even the sleep pattern, your sleep pattern has to change because you're on a different time zone now. So that's the first thing I think me personally experienced. So, and the second thing I'm going to talk about is the weather. If you are moving from a low climate country to a high climate country, you're going to have a difference in weather. And this might shock you because sometimes it goes as far as today you are in 30 degrees and tomorrow you are in -2. That is a very huge shock, especially if you are someone that is your first time that moving abroad. That is really going to blow your mind. It blew my mind. So, I guess it's going to blow everybody's mind. And the next thing that I noticed again was the price comparison. I used to compare the exchange a lot. I want to buy a toothbrush. It's cost maybe $2 over here. I'm going to be thinking in my head, oh my God, that's like 10,000 naira. Buy a toothbrush. I'm back home. A toothbrush is probably 1,000 naira. So you're thinking, oh, am I going to do this if we are spending so much over here? But that goes away also with time. The first thing that I did is I stopped converting. You don't want to drive yourself crazy. So I noticed this is going to drive me crazy. I stopped converting. And it got easier when I started to work and I started to earn in the currency here. So you earn what you spend. And the standard of living is better and it supports that price. So that way is it's gonna be is you're gonna is eventually it gets better. Yeah, eventually it gets better. And after the price, then the next thing is the language. The language, there's two aspects to it. If you come in from a country that already speaks English, you are moving to a country that the majority language spoken there is English, you're gonna do okay. If you're coming from a French country to a country where they speak English, you're gonna have to learn the language of your new place of residence. But the part that I experienced because I moved from a majorly speaking English country to another majorly speaking English country is the accent. That is another part of the language that shocks you. I remember when I started working, I had some clients that simple words like back home we say adhesive, for that glue sticky stuff. So anytime I was talking to that client, I say, do you have any adhesive at all? The client goes, adhesive? You mean adhesive? So all those things, you had to change the way you pronounce some words, you had to get used to some new words. It takes time, but eventually we will all get there and it gets better every day. The more you talk to people, the more it gets better. So besides that, the next topic we're going to be talking about is loneliness. Loneliness abroad is no joke. If you moved abroad with your family, it's a lot better. Let's say you have wife and kids, like me, that's my situation. So it's a lot better for me. I can't compare myself to someone that just moved on their own because people that move on their own, most time they are home in their room alone. And unlike your home country where if you bored, you can walk out of the door and go talk to a friend, hang out with some friends. Over here, it's not like that. If you bored your friend, it's probably 1 hour drive away from you. Time you drive 1 hour, go 1 hour back, you probably only spending maybe 1 hour left. You have to sleep, you have to work. So that part brings in some sort of loneliness. You have to be very good with spending time with yourself or maybe stay on the phone with them. Maybe you can talk over the phone, but with time it also get better. But in the first few months is really tough because you are used to, oh, I'm bored, I can jump out. And all of a sudden, oh, I'm bored, what am I gonna do? I can't even call a friend. So that kind of makes people really sad, and some people end up being depressed. But my advice is make as much local friends as you can. Go out, go to the supermarket. Majority of people in the supermarket are people that live in the area. So you can meet people, make friends, you can have walk buddies, you can take walks. People love to take walks. You can take walks, connect with people. That's gonna help you with the aspect of loneliness, at least a little bit. Another thing that I really found that is different from back my home country is also the work culture over here. Maybe it's because of the bills. There's so much bills, so you have to work extra hard. But I realize over here people are working a lot harder, they're working longer. So it's something that you're gonna adjust to it too, because you want good things for yourself, and you just don't want to manage. And if you don't want to manage, you have to keep working. You have to, try to earn the extra to give you that extra peace of mind, if I'll call it that way, because when there's money, there's peace of mind. I can't lie. So, yeah, that's the end of this part of the podcast. There are more stuff that we're going to talk about on the next episode, but this is our first podcast, and I just want to give you guys an introductory into what we'll be getting on this podcast. I'm going to be talking about a lot of stuff. So I'll be talking about things from my personal experience, sharing tips that can help people. Be looking down in the comments, reading people's comments, looking to connect with great people, and support your boy. Just subscribe and share, tell people about this podcast. And I hope you have a great week. Peace.